What if I told you that there was a black man from South Carolina named Albert Perry, and his DNA could literally rewrite history and humanity as we know it? In 2012, a man named Albert Perry from South Carolina. Now, you know South Carolina is hot. I don't know if you've ever been to South Carolina, but South Carolina is filled with black people. And every time I think like that South Carolina and that Georgia area, I start thinking about the Gullah Geechee. Albert Perry, he went in for a routine DNA ancestry test because, you know, just like anything. My mom, she did a DNA test the other day, and we discovered our grandfather, you know, for the first time. I discovered my grandfather for the first time. So Albert Perry in 2012, he went in for a routine ancestry test. And what they found was that his Y chromosome didn't match any human origin. His Y chromosome didn't match any human DNA. His Y chromosome even outdated Homo sapiens, which goes back 100,000 years old. His Y chromosome was 338,000 years old, dating before the existence of Homo sapiens. How is it possible that a black man from South Carolina can have a Y chromosome that predates Homo sapiens? Who is in his family tree? Where did his DNA come from? Have you ever taken a DNA test? Let me know in the comments.
My ancestors have been tapping on my back for since I was young, and I just blocked it. It seemed like a lot, you know, and I had no mentorship or anyone to explain any of it to me. Elder Maladoma has spoken about.
Yeah.
He is actually the one who introduced me to ancestral work. And he talked about how it takes over 2,500 ancestors for me to be in this world today, right? That's a lot. And where does that energy reside? It's in our bones. It's in our DNA. This whole thing where I used to feel like I was alone, that I was just the only one, changed almost overnight, because he's like, you have energies and people who walk with you. Your ancestors walk with you. And so that fortified me. And I can tell you from that moment on, I've never felt alone. I might get sad, I might get a little melancholy, but I don't feel depressed because I'm like, oh, I have people. Like, my people walk with me every day.
The talking to trees trend explained.
Go ahead, tree, I can feel you, I know it's coming. There's no way, gang.
Tree Beard, if you hear me talking to you, touch my shoulder. Again, nothing. Unhand me, tree.
On the cheek. One more. That's crazy. I love you. I appreciate you.
I love you too. Closer. Closer. Thank you. Thank you.
So let's break this down a little bit. The difference between this reaction...
Waiting for the wind to stop. Okay. Tree, if you can hear me, touch my shoulder. Touch my hand. See what I'm talking about?
And this reaction...
Touch my shoulder. Okay. Tree, did you guys see that? You can hear me. Touch my shoulder. Oh my God, thank you.
Confidence, patience, and open-mindedness. The revolution is now, and we got magical powers. We are naturally electromagnetically in tune with our environment. It moves as we move, just like that.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away. I'm illuminated now, I make a move, start a waves. I've been dreaming of my lion for a long time. I had a
All right, y'all. So this is how it happened. I was sitting in this park. I'm laying on the bench, and I was just talking to Jesus, right? And I'm just praying, and you know what I'm saying. And out of nowhere, this squirrel popped up, and you know what I'm saying. And he was sitting on the tree at first, and I just started talking to him. I'm like, you know, I'm just like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? What you doing? I was like, you come here, you come chill with me. And he started creeping towards me. So I'm like, what the hell? So, you feel me? I just kept talking. I just kept asking him, like, you hungry or something? You come chill with me. He got on the bench. He started chilling with me. I've been talking with him. I just fed him, gave him some water and stuff. And yeah, and here we are. Me and my dog, Walter. I don't know. And I only told y'all what I was doing because, you know what I'm saying? But it might not be related. It might not be related to praying, but you know what I'm saying? I don't see this happening to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Did you hear that last week, mysteriously, hundreds of mountain lions have been leaving Yellowstone National Park, headed south to Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's baffling the scientific experts of like, why would they be leaving all of a sudden? We've never seen this behavioral itch amongst the mountain lion populancers in any locale, in any state or geography. And it's not just one or two or three of them that are leaving. There's hundreds, and you can see these three just walking on the road south there towards Salt Lake City, Utah. There is a religious fellow there, a pastor named Tucker Tucketts, that's from the region, and he's saying, hey, this has been prophesied. This is a religious thing about lions leaving and gathering in the last days of the earth. And others are saying, no, it's not religious. It's just some creature critters sometimes feel compelled to regather. And so they might just be going to new territory to find new food. But I'm curious what you think of this all. It's just super mysterious.
Islam, Shalom, Hola, Aloha, Bonjour, Osio, Assalamu Alaikum. This is your brother, Zach Bay. Indigenous America More, coming to you live in full effect. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I'm dropping some new content. Leave a comment and interact with me. Thank you. I really do appreciate your viewership. Let's jump into another one. Today, hopefully you enjoyed those clips at the beginning, and I'm going to show some more at the end, all right? To help lay the groundwork for what I'm going to be talking about. But there's been a increase of people talking to animals and talking to plants, all right, like specifically trees. But it's been a lot more videos I've been seeing going viral, and it seems the consciousness might be increasing, maybe the frequencies or the vibration. There's talks about the solar flares that have been coming from the sun in the last few years are doing DNA upgrades on, you know, people who can absorb those cosmic energies. That's been like a topic of interest of late, whether or not you have heard about it. But I've definitely been hearing about that phenomenon for the past few years now, that these solar flares, in the scientific community, they were saying how it could potentially be causing electromagnetic waves to hit the earth, and it could be knocking out cellular signals and things of that nature, right? That's what they were saying, that it could potentially be a danger. Hence why these people want to block out the sun. But in actuality, it's more so, you know, the planet is heating up because I don't know the exact reason, but my thoughts is it's heating up to get rid of unwanted plague upon the planet. You know, the sun is a source of life for the entire planet, but for some it's not. It kills, right? But yeah, there's been talks about maybe it's some type of evolution, maybe it's some type of DNA upgrade that's happening to us, you know, people who can absorb those cosmic radiations, those cosmic energies from our solar system, from you know, just from the natural cycles of the universe. But yeah, that's very, very interesting. Along with that, speaking to plants isn't anything new. Even in the Bible, there was parables, and there were sections on how Christ spoke to fish. He commanded the fish to jump into the nets when they were out fishing, right? There was a part when he commanded a fig tree to wither and die. So he spoke to a plant, and he said, with this authority, with authority from the Most High, you too can command mountains to move and all this type of stuff. So that could, on the religious side, even historical, there's something to this, right? So even in this modern age, in this modern day, the fact that people are becoming aware that they can speak to animals and trees, animals and all kinds of plants. In more modern history, the scientist George Washington Carver, if you're familiar with his works, besides him just creating peanut butter, he did many experiments and had many inventions and discoveries involving plants. All right. He was a very, very talented and adept botanist. So he studied plants, and he had a lot of inventions he made with the soy plant as well. I believe he made like a glue. That's why I don't believe soy should be eaten, along with Dr. Sabi saying that. But yeah, I believe in his memoirs, George Washington Carver mentioned how the plants spoke to him, and that's how he could decode the type of properties that each plant had. Like, you can look this up. He said that the plants spoke to him. So through the melanin in his skin, whatever type of bloodline ancestry he might have, he was tapping into that God-given divine ability. He was tapping into that, and he was able to communicate with the plants, and they were communicating with him. So besides us, I'm leaning to believe that besides us just talking to the animals and talking to the plants, eventually they're going to start talking back to us. That clip showing that bird just flew over and was just chirping, it seemed like that bird was almost about to just talk to him, besides like parrots and things. But there's also been evidence and video evidence of, like, when they teach higher primates like chimpanzees, orangutans, when they teach them sign language, American Sign Language, when they teach that to them, and they're able to communicate in basic, pretty much in basic understanding, maybe like a 7 or 8 year old or something, right? But the animals would often tell people to stop destroying the planet, stop destroying nature. All right, that's very, very important. We're supposed to steward this planet, the natural inhabitants of this planet, my ancestors. We're supposed to steward the planet. We're supposed to take care of and cherish nature and the animals and the plants. We're supposed to be taking care of the oceans. It's not supposed to be this many creatures going extinct, fam. It's not supposed to be this many creatures that we will never see the light of its day. We will never see the light of its eyes again, right? Very, very sad stuff. But in ancient times, there's always been stories and tales of the ancestors communicating with animals, communicating with nature, that we don't have the ability to do today. In the Disney movie Pocahontas, she spoke to a willow tree. She had a little raccoon friend that she could easily communicate with that hung out with her. She was able to communicate with John Smith. Like, the first time they were encountering each other, she was able to break that language barrier, right? That's just a Disney fairy tale, but I'm letting you know that it's kind of giving a little gem of what the indigenous people here were able to do, fam. That's what I'm trying to lean toward. So, also Narnia, The Chronicles of Narnia was one of my favorite movies. If you could tell, it's the sword right here. The Chronicles of Narnia sword. It has Aslan's head on the top, the lion. All right, that movie has a lot of Christian undertones and overtones, right? But yeah, the animals were able to talk. There were noble beasts, and noble beasts have titles, fam. All right, so not all animals can be treated the same. Why do you think they call lions the king of the jungle? King, that's a noble title. That's a title of nobility. Even some bird species might even be called lords of the sky. Lord. When it comes to pack animals, the alpha is normally the leader. All right, alpha, that's a title. Or even when some animals go on rampages, or the largest male in a group is normally called the bull. Not just when it comes to cows and steers, but the term bull elephant or the term bull moose, right? That's like a title that you put on it for the biggest and strongest of the herd, of the pack, of the group, right? So certain animals have noble titles, fam. You know what I'm saying? And they should be respected as such. And in the law of the jungle, respect comes down to fear. They say the lion is not the most, isn't the strongest, it isn't the biggest. You know what I'm saying? The lion sleeps most of the day, but when it comes out and it hunts, it looks at anything as its prey, and that's why it can be called the king, you know? And all the other animals in its surroundings have a healthy respect for its authority, right? But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for now. I might make some more to this series because this is some very, very interesting stuff. Animals and plants seem to be communicating. The vibrations and the frequency seems to be rising, fam. It's a very, very exciting time that we're in. As much negativity as there is in the world, there's still positive, there's still positive things like this going on to show you, God's glory, God's majesty, fam. Be kind to nature and be kind to animals. We only have this one planet, and it's up to us to protect it and make sure that that the wildlife and the trees are here for future generations to enjoy. If we cut down all the trees, if we burn up all the forests, if we pollute all the oceans and rivers, what will we have? What will we have for the future? All right. So make sure you take care of yourself, take care of the planet. Once again, let me know how I'm doing down below. Like, share, subscribe to my content. Leave a comment, interact with me. It's your brother Zach Bay. Peace.
This is a Facebook post from a Palestinian named Hamed Ashar. He originally met this German Shepherd that you see here a year ago. He said the dog came to his house with a group of people who were fleeing bombs. He didn't belong to them, to those other people, so he stayed with Hamed for a few days. He wrote that they shared fear and canned meat. Hamad made another post about that dog this week. He said, "A year ago, I shared my story with this very friendly dog. What a lucky dog." The story was featured in Arab and international magazines, read by over 5 million people around the world, and translated into 7 different languages. At the time, an animal welfare organization from Dublin, the capital of Ireland, reached out to me. They wanted to check on the dog's well-being and asked for photos of the tent we were living in and guarding together. I sent the photos and received an outpouring of sympathy, immense and incredibly rare. They seriously explored the possibility of evacuating the dog from Gaza through partner organizations. They wanted a better life, a cleaner place, and a wider sky for the dog, but no one mentioned me. Me, the one who was living in a tent, not even fit for a dog. So he shared that as like a year.
How can people take a dog out of Gaza and not humans?
They weren't able to. This is a dog that became his companion and then, made headlines, and that's what people's priorities were.
In you There goes the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans.
What's happening? My name is OMGS Wicks and I am a born and raised Floridian. Now, I've been trying to tell y'all for years that Florida has wild monkeys. So much so that I ain't even bring out the flip phone this time. I feel like the flip phone is distracting y'all, and I feel like y'all need to hear these words. Florida has wild monkeys. No, I'm not talking about Monkey Island, where it's basically just a tourist attraction where monkeys just live and they can't get off this island, so it's basically like a little open zoo, but the monkeys can't leave. I mean, Florida has real wild monkeys, y'all, that live in Florida. I've actually seen these monkeys myself kayaking in Silver Springs in Ocala. Now, there's a lot of theories about how these monkeys get there. A lot of people think that they were left there during the filming of the Tarzan movie. That is actually not true. There was a guy that wanted to spice up his little tourist attraction. So what he did was he added some wild monkeys that he thought was lemurs, so that he can, give a little bit of spice to his tours. Turns out that these were monkeys. Now, he didn't think that these monkeys could swim and then they would just die off in a few years. Wrong. These monkeys can swim very well. Matter of fact, they be dive bombing into the water. These monkeys are about that action, and these monkeys have proved that they're going to survive no matter what. Needless to say, these monkeys have adapted and took on the whole Florida culture. Now, I know there's going to be somebody in the comments like, oh, let me go pet the monkey. These monkeys can carry a herpes virus that is, most humans probably won't survive. So, do with that information what you may. Just don't blame us. Florida actually has about 3 different species of monkeys. I think at one point we was at like 4 to 6. I got to double check that, but I know right now from what I read, we're at about 3. Other animals that live in Florida that you may not know about, Florida has wild bison. We got real wild bison just out here roaming around, y'all. Just roaming. They just out there. We also have wild horse. We got wild horse. I don't know why we got them, but we got them, y'all. I see the wild horse fighting an alligator. It was happening. Somebody thought it was a pet horse. Really, it was a wild horse, and they was battling the alligator. They was just out there doing their Florida Pokemon thing. But yes, back to the original point. Florida has wild monkeys, y'all. We got them. They out here, and that's on Florida.
Many people don't understand the magnitude of privatizing public land. You're not giving, listen to me close here. You're not giving the United States of America more resources by selling public land. You do understand how that works, right? If they find minerals on it, if they find oil on it, if they drill, if they cut a bunch of timber off of public land, you're not giving those resources to the United States of America. You're giving those resources to corporations who will turn around and then sell it back to you. You already fucking owned it. If an administration is willing to privatize its own commodity of public land to wipe out its debt ceiling, it's not becoming empowered. It's not becoming more powerful. It's becoming a corporation. Do you understand the difference there? We're all getting cheated on. We all are. It's just that some of us apparently still believe that the other girl is just a friend. Getting clowned, dude. That's what's happening. You're getting clowned.
I own the land. Palm Beach County wanted me to give them the land. I'm not in the business of buying land and giving land to people. I'm in the business of making money.
What good is a fast car, a flash house and a gold-plated dunny to me? Absolutely no good at all. I've been put on this planet to protect wildlife and wilderness areas, which in essence is going to help humanity. I want to have the purest oceans. I want to be able to drink water straight out of that creek. I want to save the world. And you know, money's great. I can't get enough money. And you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to buy wilderness areas with it. Every single cent I get goes straight into conservation. And guess what, Charles? I don't give a rip whose money it is, mate. I'll use it and I'll spend it on buying land.